Google is cracking down hard on sites that use AI for SEO, except in certain ways. And that's what I'm going to show you. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to use AI to get SEO traction in a way that Google doesn't mind you using. So, quick note, if you don't know who I am, my name is Raj Khera, and I've actually built several SaaS companies, have 3 exits to public firms, and I've scaled each of these businesses using SEO. As we start exploring how SEO works, we want to look at the specific ways you can actually get a lower cost to acquire a customer. It is one of the most underutilized tactics that you can do for B2B SEO. First, take a look at Google's helpful content guidelines. You may have seen this. It's called EAT: Expertise, Authoritativeness, and Trustworthiness. Back in December 2022, Google added another layer to this, which is experience. And they want to make sure that the companies that are posting content online, the people who are doing it, actually have the expertise to do it. And so what many people started doing was looking at AI as a really fast way to game the system. And so they could just type in a prompt, get lots of content, and then just put it out on SEO. So back in February 2023, Google issued what they call a clarification. And these are their words. If you see AI as an essential way to help you produce content that is helpful and original, it might be useful to consider. If you see it as an inexpensive, easy way to game search engine rankings, then no. A lot of people didn't really heed that warning. And so we entered this area that all of last year and the beginning of this year, what I call the SEO AI hacker happy days. You just type in a prompt, write a blog on ransomware, and it will come back and generate a nice article for you. And at first glance, this looks like it's a really deep, rich article. But I just want you to pay attention to a couple of the word choices here. You'll see things like in today's digital landscape, we'll explore, delve into, things like that. So just bookmark that in your mind for a moment. I'm going to come back to that in a second. And what happened? Sites started to get really good rankings. They just started to get more and more traffic, more and more clicks, all from this AI generated content. So remember what Google wanted to know. They wanted to know that you had the experience to actually write this content. And what happened was many companies would just produce content that they had no experience with. They were just using the AI. So this year, on March 5th, 2024, Google issued a new spam policy. It was called scaled content abuse. And the gist of it was that if you're using AI to just create a whole bunch of content that's not really doesn't add value, that it's not very helpful, that it's basically regurgitated information from ChatGPT's training data set, then that's not good. They're not going to allow you to do that. And as a result, it was game over for everybody who was trying to game the system. And what that meant was all of the traffic that sites were getting, these are screenshots from people posting on just after March 5th saying, "What happened? I just lost all this traffic that I was getting," because Google completely whacked the sites that were using AI, only AI, to produce their content. And it's again because it was just regurgitated content. There's nothing new that they were posting. It was just framed in a different way. So Google said, no, that's just not allowed. Now, if you take a look at the use of certain words, so remember, I said just bookmark a couple of the words that it generated for one of the articles that I very quickly created saying, what is ransomware protection? And you can see that the use of word delve in the last 2 years has skyrocketed. I wish my business sales curve looked something like this. It is skyrocketing. So in the last 34 years, it was very moderate use, and suddenly it was used all over the place. And it wasn't just the word delve. These are the top 10 most common words that ChatGPT uses. And you can see that by themselves, they might look okay, but when used in context with phrases, these are the 15 most common ChatGPT phrases. And you can see who talks like this. Look at number 8, delve into. Number 11, in this digital world. How many times have we seen that? Number 13, in the annals of. And so if you just had one phrase in an article, that'd be one thing. But ChatGPT and other tools use lots of these phrases throughout the document. So it becomes very easy to detect. And if the human eye can detect it, can you imagine what Google's 10,000 plus PhDs can actually do when they're producing their algorithms? So it's time to level up. And now I'm going to show you specific ways that you can level up your game. And the way we do that is instead of just using AI to generate the content, we're going to add our own thought leadership, our own expertise. This is really important because when you start looking at what you know in your mind, if you're a subject matter expert, you know a lot more than just the training set that ChatGPT has. So we're going to use this in a really clever way. Watch. Now, if you went to somebody on your team who could be your CEO, could be you, it could be someone on your team that is a subject matter expert, and you said, "Hey, Bob, write a keyword-rich blog on ransomware protection," and Bob's going to give you a look like this, they're going to be pretty frustrated because that's the old way of doing things, and a lot of times people have other priorities. writing content isn't necessarily one of them, especially if you're working with technical people. But on the other hand, if you said to them, "Hey, Bob, let's talk about ransomware protection," that's easy. Having a conversation with someone is quite simple, especially when you have it with a subject matter expert. And so the thing is, what do you want to talk about? How do you want to have this conversation? So you could go to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, write an outline for a conversation on ransomware protection." The only thing is, this doesn't take into account one of the most important components for SEO, which is keywords. So let's not do it this way. We're going to do it a bit of a different way. We're going to start with things called like that are commonly known as seed keywords. So the way you come up with your seed keywords is you follow your customer buyer journey. Just think like a customer. What problems are they trying to solve? Why is it a problem? What are they how are they currently solving it? What would happen if they didn't solve it, which is one of the most important questions to ask your customers. Things like what tips do they wish they knew? What would make their life easier? What questions don't they have answers to? And when you write this up, you will start to see common themes, common words show up, and those become your seed keywords that you can enter into data tools. My preferred tool is SEMrush. There's lots of other ones out there, Ahrefs, there's SpyFu, there's Ubersuggest. And when you enter these seed keywords, you can come up with additional keywords, and that will show you the difficulty level that it takes to actually get ranked on a specific keyword, the intent, whether someone typing this keyword is looking just for information or if they're looking to make a commercial transaction. And you'll also get search volume. And you can use this information now so that when we go to ChatGPT, it will actually come back with something much more useful. So instead of that basic prompt, we're going to type in something like this. You're a managed service provider in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area who serves small business customers. Most of your clients are accounting firms, but you also have law firms. And I could go on and on. And this is training the AI to think like you, like your company, like you as a person. So this is a much deeper prompt than that simple one liner, such as write an outline on this topic. But I'm not done. There's more to this. Write an interview style podcast outline that includes questions that the interviewer can prompt the guest to talk about, and then include four key talking points for each question that the guest should address. Now, another thing that I added here was be sure to prompt the user to tell stories. I'm still not done. There's more to this prompt. It's going to be a 25-minute podcast episode on this topic. And you just keep deeper and going deeper and deeper into the exact thoughts that you have. And if you happen to service a local area, you can add those words into it. So now look at the difference in the prompt here. Write an outline for blog on ransomware protection versus four really deep, insightful paragraphs that try to get to exactly who your audience is, what their considerations are, who you are as a company, what kind of expertise you have. And now, when you use this type of prompt, the outline you get back with the keywords that you put in is really strong. Take a look at this one. I've set this structure up so that I've got my keywords up at the top. I've highlighted in yellow the questions that the interviewer could ask, and then below it, the bullet points that the expert would answer. Now, this is really important the way it's structured because I've got it set up so that you've got question and then answer. And it just goes down for about four, five, six questions. So question, answer, question, answer. This is a structured dialogue so that you actually get the information you want in the way that's going to produce a really insightful article. I'll show you how this comes out in just a moment. It's pretty neat. Next step is just to record it. If you have a partner, you can have them ask you the questions and then you answer them as a subject matter expert. Or if you don't have anybody, no problem. Just put those prompts on your screen, just look at the questions and then just start answering them step by step. So what happens after this is inside the dialogue, when you start using your keywords, when you start saying those terms that you'd identified through the keyword research, and you also tell stories, things really start to make that transcript very unique and very original. Those are things that Google looks for. Now, I stress this point: facts tell, stories sell. All of us have stories. Think about your customers. Who else has your customer stories? Nobody's got them. Only you have them. So if you happen to get permission from a customer to allow you to use their name inside your content, that's wonderful. But not everybody's got that. So you might say something like, oh, we had a law firm client that was looking to upgrade all of their systems, but they couldn't because they weren't having their data backed up properly. So we had to do step one, step two, step three. This is all really cool when it comes to creating snippets that you can clip out of that video. That's wonderful content to post on your social platforms and also gives you a lot of information to put inside that article. Your article becomes so unique that nobody else got that. ChatGPT doesn't have it. The training set doesn't have it. So we go to the transcript. And once you've created the document, if you're using Zoom to record, you can use a tool like Otter or if you're using podcasting tools like Riverside or Squadcast, you can get transcripts from them as well. And the transcript, again, is set up in a very structured way. Remember, we had question, answer, question, answer. When you think about it in the context of an article, the first question becomes the first section of your article with the content below it. The next would be the next section, and then the content below it, and so on. And you've layered this whole thing in. So instead of going to ChatGPT to help you convert this into an article, if you loaded the entire 4,000 word piece in at one time, or 2,000 word piece, whatever it ends up being, the AI tool is going to choke on it. So that's why you want to do it one section at a time. And so here's the prompt that you go back to ChatGPT with. Notice it's very different. We're not saying write an article on. What we're doing is using AI to convert the following transcript into an educational article written at the ninth grade reading level. Key point here. I use ninth grade. I've tested eighth, ninth, 10th college level reading. For my audience, for example, the ninth grade reading level seems to be a really good sweet spot. In fact, Google takes that into account. They want to know that your article is quite readable. So those are some of the SEO ranking factors. Take a look at the other things that I've highlighted in yellow in this prompt. Retain all of the examples, stories, case studies, use cases, and illustrative concepts mentioned in the transcript. Also say, make sure that you use these keywords. And then at the very bottom, I paste in that segment of the transcript. This ends up resulting in a wonderful article because you have all those different sections, maybe 5 or 6 sections, and you've got a pretty darn good first draft. It may not be perfect. You might have to make some edits to it, perhaps 90% correct, but that is a really solid way to get the content in the manner that you need. And the other part of this is you have a waterfall of additional content. Think about it. Because you recorded the entire discussion, the interview, just add an opening and an ending, and you can make that into a podcast. For the stories that you've mentioned inside, the case studies, or just other examples, you can clip those out and get lots of social clips that you can put onto your LinkedIn profile or other places. You can also dissect the large article and make it into smaller blogs, perhaps even produce one big long one that people can use as a download. So you have this waterfall of content that makes all of your content marketing so much better from that one interview. Now, this is a really important step in this. This is when you optimize the content. You don't want to just publish the article as it is. The key thing here is to do these following 11 steps. I'll just go through them real quick here. And I've got much more information in my course and in other places on my site where you can find out about how to optimize specific on-page tactics here. So your keyword should be in your title and your H1 tag. The keyword should also be your file name, and make sure that keyword is mentioned in your meta description. Include the keywords, the other keywords that you have in your H2 tags. Now you should only have one H1 tag in your article, and then you can have multiple H2 tags, and each of those can have your alternative keywords embedded in it. Then pepper your keywords throughout the article. And again, when you do this process, they naturally become integrated into your content. Insert keywords in your image alt tag. So don't just throw images on your screen. Make sure the image file name also is the keyword, and then the alt tag inside the image is your keyword too. This is a really key point because more images makes your page much more visually aesthetically pleasing, and Google looks for readability. You can use bullet points, things like that. Just make it so that it's not one big long piece of text. So next is the link strategy. You want to include links to other articles on your site, and you want to link to other articles on other sites also. What I like to do with the links to the other articles, I never use a keyword I'm trying to get found on my site and link that to another site because that's a conflict. You want to only link keywords that you're trying to get found on to other pages on your own site. But what you could do is in your article, find a word that's maybe worth defining and link it to Investopedia or Wikipedia, or maybe an article on Forbes or something like that. So that way you're linking out, but you're not necessarily linking competitive terms. The other thing to do, and this is step 9, it is one of the most overlooked pieces of SEO, is to update your older articles with a link to this new one once you've got that posted live. Now, number 10 is really easy and it's so powerful. It's embedding all those video clips, maybe not all of them, but at least 3 or 4 video clips that you've captured from that interview and put those onto your page as well. You can upload them to YouTube, get the embed code, and stick that onto your page. There's been a study by SEMrush, and they found that pages that have videos embedded into them generate like 100% more. I think it's 117% more inbound links. And that's what you want because that adds to your site's authority. The last thing is to add a link to an author page. And this ties to the experience portion what Google is looking for. If you have an expert on staff, create a page that talks about their expertise, their background, maybe link to their LinkedIn profile. And what does this do? It actually meets all of those criteria that Google has laid out. And so that's how we can use AI and not just use it out of the box, but use it to enhance the subject matter expertise that you have. You might be thinking, Raj, does this process actually work? Well, let's take a look. So I've blurred out my customers' contact information and specific keywords. I just want to show you some of the results. These are real results. There's one client that had a company that's about 15, 20 people, and we wrote an article with this process. It debuted at number 16. So it was on page two, doesn't get a whole lot of traffic on page two, but within a month, it went into page one, ranked number 10, and started inching up from there. The top pages that were ranked for this specific keyword, the top sites, were one of them was the government of Canada had a page, Rogers Communications, which is a very large telecom in Canada, and then IBM. Soon, this client went to number one. They passed IBM. And what did IBM do? They started advertising. They started doing sponsored links, pay per click for that specific keyword. So pretty neat. This small companies actually beat out IBM. Here's another one, debuted at number 6 on Google and also number 2 on YouTube. And then within 5 weeks, reached the featured snippet portion on Google. Another client debuted at number 2 and number 3 for 2 different pieces. This was their first piece that they created using this process. And it was a person who just did not know a lot about SEO and learned during our coaching times together. And then within a month, that company now has number 1 and 2 rankings for really good keywords that they're trying to go after. And it goes on. People are getting ranked. Here's one that got debuted at number 3 and number 2 for different target terms. And I'm sure they're going to be inching up from there very quickly. So does this process work? Yes, absolutely it works. Now there's more to it. There's more ways to use AI to capture SEO. And here's a strategy that I've used in all of my companies that has gained lots of traction very quickly. What you're trying to do is get more high quality links to point to you. So, what do executives always look at? Every executive, every industry, they look at trends. And the reason they look at trends is they want to know what's going on in the industry that will affect their business. Now, if you happen to be running a company like perhaps a software as a service, a SaaS company, or any other type of service where you've got some data points that you can aggregate and not reveal customer information, but put together aggregate information, you can actually create a really nice trends report. I'll give you an example. I used to run a company called MailerMailer. It was an email marketing software company. We used to send out over 1.5 billion emails every year on behalf of our clients. And I went to my engineers and I said, hey, can we capture things like average open rates, click rates, bounce rates, best day of week to send, best time of day to send? They're like, oh, yeah, we can capture all that numbers and aggregate it. So we put it together, created a whole bunch of charts. And this was a while ago. We created the world's first email marketing metrics report. And we used traditional PR to launch it. So we sent it to targeted reporters and we said this release is embargoed until the following Monday. And then on that Monday, all these reporters loved this data and they started publishing it. We used some of the sample charts that we provided, and we instantly got lots of very high quality links pointing to us, got covered in lots of press. And the next thing, our site's authority ranking started to go up quite a bit. So in addition to new clients, we started getting calls from Toyota, DuPont, lots of new clients. What also happened was every time we published a new article after this, because our site's authority was higher, our new articles started getting ranked higher faster. Now, this is before AI. So now with AI, GPT 4.0 Omni has recently come out and it allows you to just upload files. So spreadsheets, documents, charts, things like that, and it can analyze them for you. You got to just do a double check on it because it doesn't always get it right. But if you have mines of data, you can load those into ChatGPT 4.0 and it will allow you to capture some sorts of analyses, put that together in a report, release that. That is a really good resource that people will want to link to. So that's one of the strategies you can use. Also, if you happen to be creating videos that you want to script, you can use AI to create storyboards for you, things like that that will help you align with what you're doing. Now, look, I know I gave a lot of information today. It might feel like you're drinking water out of a fire hose, and you might be feeling like this. And I don't want you to feel like this. I want you to feel closer to something like this, happy and excited that you can actually get all of this done. Because I covered a lot of information, you might think right after this video, oh, what did he say? You can go back and watch the video again. Or if you'd like, please reach out to me. My information is below in the description, and I'm happy to answer any questions for you. Another thing is you might be interested in a tool that'll help you do a lot of everything I described for you. So if you are interested in that, you can scan my QR code here. That goes to my LinkedIn profile, or just type in my name into Google. That'll take you right into my LinkedIn profile as well. And send me a direct message with the word beta. Include your email address, and I can put you on the beta that's going to be released later this summer in a couple of months that will allow you to do probably 90% of everything we talked about: the idea generation, the outline creation, keyword analysis, the interview, and then the conversion of the interview into an SEO friendly article with all of those SEO tactics built into it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot from it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please post them in the comments below, and I'll see you on a future video.